Yo, why Brigitte made so mad, bro? Why'd they punch an air right now? Yo, Brig Mates. Hey, I finally get this, alright? For 5 months straight, my favorite hero was the talk of Nerf City, alright? So any single time that a hero gets drastically nerfed, I'm gonna be happy. One, because a hero gets drastically nerfed, which is probably needed, but two, it's not my favorite hero. Brigitte got probably the biggest nerf in today's experimental update. However, I just wanted to clarify that's only on experimental mode. It could not go through, which is what happened with the Moira changes on my last experimental video, which I was kind of confused. Like, why would you push the Hanzo buffs out? One that he definitely did not need, but Moira's nerf didn't get pushed. I don't get it. But today, what I wanted to do was not laugh about Brigitte's nerfs, at least not too much. I did want to compare and contrast the experimental changes with the live server, so you can really see the differences and how drastic these changes are on the surface, but in actual games, if it's going to be even that big of a change to begin with. So let's look at the changes. Probably the second biggest change in this experimental update is Ashe's nerf to her TNT, where she has a 2-second added cooldown. Yeah, nobody cares about this. Let's talk about Brigitte, bruh. Brigitte's armor packs no longer grants additional armor when a hero is at full health. Let's go! I will go into greater detail on why I think this is a huge change at the end of the video, but I really see this affecting Brigitte players that spread out the armor packs, because that just means 150 armor is no more. Just bye-bye. To compensate for this nerf, Brigitte did receive a buff to her shield where she now has 50 additional hit points, but like, come on. My left nipple can do 50 damage. That's not a huge buff. But to compensate for that buff, she received 2 nerfs to her shield, where now the regeneration rate is 85 health per second, and the cooldown after you destroy it is now a whole 5 seconds until you can use it. Alright, so D.va received a lot of good buffs. I can't get over that. So her fusion cannons, the speed penalty is now reduced to 40%, which means you can shoot and walk a little bit faster, not a whole lot faster. Her defense matrix also got a buff where now the cooldown on it is 1 second, but you really only see that buff when you spam it. So if you use it more conservatively, you really won't be benefiting from the buff all too much. And the buff that I really like the most, surprisingly, is that her micro missiles activate after 1/4 of a second rather than 1/2 of a second. Alright, Junkrat's concussion mine got a buff where it activates after 0.1 of a second. Did you catch that buff? Nope. Alright, let me show you. To the naked eye, it might have seemed like the same kind of clip, but when you freeze frame it, it's a couple of frames ahead of what the live servers are at. It's not a noticeable buff. Like, if I have to freeze frame it to show you the buff, that's how bad of a buff it is. At least on paper, because I can see this being a complementary buff to the buff that you received a couple of patches ago where he's able to throw it a little bit farther. However, that's not all the buff love that he received, because after you explode your rip tire, you're now able to control Junkrat 0.9 seconds after the fact. So it's kind of like a quality of life change more or less than a buff, but it's still a buff at the end of the day. So obviously the loser here in this update is Brigitte. I just want to clarify, they might not go on to live servers, but you know this patch was kind of focused around Brigitte, because after the initial GOATS nerf that she received, she crept back into the meta because people adapted to what kind of playstyle works for her now post nerf. But even so, Blizzard doesn't really like that. Blizzard doesn't like meta healers, so that's why they try to focus this update around Brigitte. And you have to remember, Brigitte mains, like, yes, I pissed you off, admittedly, but come on now, we have mains where the whole entire community hates in general, so you should already be used to this, but people hated the fact that your main, that Brigitte, was one of the most viable healers right now, not necessarily for a comp's perspective, but just as picking a healer in general. You know, people will tell you to switch off of Mercy, or switch off of Honor, or switch off of whoever to play Brigitte because that armor is so crucial. And now that's gone. Does Brigitte lose her identity as a healer after this? In my personal opinion, which again, I don't play a lot of Brigitte compared to probably most of you guys watching, I don't think that, like, at all. She's a DPS healer. It's kind of like the same factor of Zenyatta. You know, you think of Zenyatta, and yeah, he has a heal opportunity, but he also has high DPS opportunity. And same thing with Brigitte. High DPS opportunity, but she still has her armor pack that has tons of heal potential, and her passive ability, which is given off from her DPS opportunity. I think I said DPS opportunity at least like 5 times in that sentence, but what I'm trying to get at is that just because she loses 50 to 150 armor in a rapid session does not necessarily mean that she's useless. It just means her effectiveness on the field is less noticeable because armor gives off a lot more protection than just a shield or just anything. You know, you have to understand how armor works in the game to realize how 50 armor is really crucial compared to just 50 health points. Me as a soldier or a tracer is going to see a huge drop in damage because armor is going to be blocking most of our low consistent DPS, and I think that's why they got rid of it because, well, again, 50 armor is not a lot in retrospect. It is a lot when it comes to those low consistent DPS heroes. For someone like Ashe or for someone like Widowmaker, maybe not so much, but when it comes to how many opportunities Brigitte offers, I think that was just one too many and one that was kind of annoying when it comes to going against just one single hero. Now, does that mean Brigitte is going to drop to the bottom of heroes where every single time you pick Brigitte, people are going to report you and yell at you and tell you to get off Brigitte? I would like to believe not so much because, again, you still have the heal opportunities from her repair pack, which I want to remind you, it just gets rid of armor. You're still able to heal healers for the amount of the repair pack that it offers, and maybe they'll change it to where maybe you can get more heals for the repair pack in the future. But I think if you want to play Brigitte and if you're good at Brigitte, you're gonna be fine. But specifically for Brigitte, I would like for you guys to tell me if you think that 50 armor is gonna be a crucial loss. Like, while yes, it is gonna be a noticeable crucial loss, is it gonna be a crucial loss to where it knocks her out of the meta? Well, in due time, we will see. But until then, let me know what you think about all the other changes as well, and I will see you guys later. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.